Hey everyone, welcome to the review. Here's my review for the movie White Boy Rick. Yes, White Boy Rick stars Matthew McConaughey, Richie Merritt, Jason Leigh, and Bruce Dern, and this movie is directed by Yann Demange. Yes, the guy who gave us the movie 71, starring Jack O'Connell. Very good film, and yes, this movie is based on a true story about the guy, White Boy Rick. This is in the 1980s in Detroit, and basically about this 15-year-old kid who becomes an FBI informant to take down these drug dealers, but then also in his life, he himself becomes a drug dealer, starts trafficking drugs, which leads to his life sentence in prison and stuff. This is the story about White Boy Rick and his father, played by Matthew McConaughey. And yeah, from the trailers, this movie looked like a really cool, interesting movie, cool concept, and I don't really know much of the story about White Boy Rick, so I was curious about this movie, and it was getting a very mixed response. I went to the Toronto Film Festival, got very mixed reviews. It's now like a 62, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, and honestly, that's a perfect rating for White Boy Rick. This movie is pretty good. Actually, it's really great in some aspects, but there's also a lot of problems with this movie and a lot of things I really didn't like, and there's a lot of missed opportunity for this story. A lot of it is due to its writing. There's a lot of things in this movie that felt like they were taken out of the film or something. I felt like there were scenes missing. I felt like this movie would have been better as a mini-series than an actual movie, because there's a lot of aspects of this character's life I feel like they just sort of glossed over and stuff. I felt like this movie just flat out starts. Like, that was my big problem with this movie. The movie just starts. It doesn't really develop the characters right away. It starts with Matthew McConaughey and his son buying guns and stuff. Like, the movie just flat out starts. It doesn't establish the story or establish the character. It just starts. That's just a huge issue for me. Just like, give me some development, flesh the characters out, then get into the real plot. But let's talk about the positives first. The positives first. The very biggest positive about this movie is Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey as the father, Rick Sr., he's fantastic in this film. He's a terrific actor, and he steals every scene he is in. He absolutely gives a terrific performance in this film. He is so good. He is the standout. I fucking loved him in this movie. I also loved most of the performances. Like, I thought Bruce Dern was good. I thought Jason Leigh was good. Even Richie Merritt as White Boy Rick was good. There's a few scenes he was a little wooden, but he was still pretty good in the film. I also loved R.J. Cyler. I love R.J. Cyler. I love him in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. I think he's a very good, young, talented actor. In all the scenes he was in, he was really great. And other than the performances, all in all, were really, really good. Really, really strong. And other than the direction was also pretty good. There's some execution problems, but I thought it was still pretty well handled and stuff. It was mostly the writing. The writing was the biggest problem. It didn't flesh out the characters properly. It didn't always establish the characters properly. And the movie glosses over a lot of things. That is not the director's fault. That is a lot of the writing issues. The story isn't always paced properly. And again, I felt like there were scenes that were missing from this film. There were scenes from this person's life I wanted to know, and I felt like they were in the movie, but they were like cut from the movie or something like that. And a lot of people thought this movie was boring, which at times it is, but I felt like the movie could have been actually been a little bit longer, establishing more scenes, him doing drug trafficking, and him actually meeting the FBI and stuff. And I wanted more scenes with his dad, more developed scenes with his dad and how he knows the FBI and stuff. There's a lot of things I didn't know about these characters. They really didn't tell me or explain it to me, because I'm just like, wait, what? How does that person know that person? How does that person know that person? Because they didn't really explain it properly. That is all due to the writing. The writing has a lot of problems, and it really, really drags the film down. That's the biggest issue with this movie. And yeah, there is a lot of boring elements. Again, that's because of the writing. They're focusing on scenes that they don't need to focus on. Focus on things that I really want to know about. And yeah, that was the biggest issue in this film. That's a big issue. When you have writing issues, that's a big issue. That really drags your film down, even though the direction is pretty good. The performances are pretty strong. There's a lot of problems with the story and a lot of problems with the writing that really take you completely out of the film. So White Boy Rick is still a pretty good film. I still enjoyed it, and I was really glad I saw it, but it's a film I'd never probably watch again. It's not a film you have to run out and see right away, but there are a lot of interesting aspects because the character itself, he himself is an interesting person. And so that right away is already interesting, but the writing didn't always make it seem interesting. It showed a lot of boring aspects of his life. It didn't show always the important things. There's a lot of things about this character they could have explored, and they didn't choose to explore all of it and stuff. And honestly, they needed more Matthew McConaughey as well. Matthew McConaughey is the true talent in this film, and they just need more scenes with him. But the scenes he was still fantastic. There was some good shots, there was some good editing, and the music was pretty good, and I liked some of the tones at times, but it felt boring at times. It felt like they focused on things they didn't need to focus on. The writing for this movie was incredibly sloppy, and it really ruined a lot of the film for me, honestly. It really did, and I think this movie could have been a really great film, but because of the writing, it really dragged the film down, and it only ended up being just an okay film for me. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give the movie White Boy Rick a 6 out of 10. There's a lot of good stuff about it, a lot of great performances, but just the story is an absolute fucking mess, and yeah, it takes you completely out of the film. So yeah, that was my review for the movie White Boy Rick. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your favorite Matthew McConaughey performance? Favorite performance. My favorite is True Detective. Him in True Detective is absolutely amazing. But yeah, what is your favorite Matthew McConaughey performance? So yeah, comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please subscribe to the channel and join the dark side.